Welcome to the first sheet of the Pain Made Easy Concussion Care Client Workbook. If you look to the title of this sheet, it says concussion brains are busy brains. This is a useful way to kind of view your concussion symptoms so that instead of seeing them as 5, 6, 7, 8, or 10 different things occurring for a different reason that are happening kind of all over your body and affect many parts of your day, this is a way to kind of collate them all together with one easy graphic to help explain what is going on and will become then the foundation of what we're going to be able to do about it. So let's take a look at the graphic. In the middle is a picture of the brain. From the side, the brain looks like a boxing glove, which makes it very easy to identify. And if you take a look at it, it has green and red fluid that's filling it. In this case, on this picture, the red is just over halfway, and that red kind of represents activity in the brain that is caused by the symptoms that can come through a concussion. If you look around the brain, there are 8 different glasses. Each one of those glasses represents the kind of building and collating and storing of those symptoms, which when those symptoms are at a moderate to low level will stay within the content's ability to hold those symptoms. If the symptoms exceed the capacity of the glass that's shown, then it will overflow and start to fill up the brain. So from the point of view of the title, concussion brains are busy brains, what we're saying is, in a concussion, there's a lot of extra activity in the brain that is causing several of these glasses to overflow. When the glasses overflow, they fill up the brain and the brain can get kind of bogged down. The same way a computer can get bogged down when it has too many software applications going on. If you look at the green bubble on the bottom of the sheet, it says when these glasses overflow, the brain gets bogged down. That's the reminder for you every time you look at this page that when you have an increase in symptoms, it's because the things that you're experiencing are happening at a high enough level to fill up these individual glasses. When the glasses become overflowed, it will then fill up the brain. Back to the picture in the middle of the brain. As that red gets higher and higher, the second way of looking at it is the area left over in green will shrink. As the red gets higher, it takes up more of the total area of the brain, and the green area will shrink. The green area I've listed just for simplicity's sake as room left over in the brain for thinking and for healing. When you get bogged down with your symptoms, you might relate that you want to stay in a cold, quiet, dark room away from any extra form of stimulus. The opposite of maybe going to a fair, going to a music concert, or heading out to Costco or Walmart. Those things have so many sensory inputs that they would cause even more increase in the activity of your brain, filling up the glasses and bogging you down. When you are bogged down and that level is very high, you see kind of a simplicity. Maybe you shade your eyes, maybe you cover your ears, maybe you want to lie down and listen to some nice quiet music. This picture describes and then eventually can help you predict why these things are happening and pave the way forward for figuring out what to do about it. Let's dive into each one of these glasses because it's the foundation of what we're going to be doing in the ensuing pages. So starting on the lower left, you have a glass that says cognition and communication. This glass fills up when you're having to think about quite complex things or when you're having to do a lot of talking and have it planned, like this conversation. You might notice problems here when you can't remember a passcode, you can't remember a word as you're developing a sentence, or you can't remember simple things around the house or at work. If you're having troubles there, that might be an indication that this glass is filling up and maybe even overflowing. Let's go straight up to the next glass that says regulatory systems. For the most part, for right now, we can consider this within the concussion realm to be an indication of your sleep. Your sleep has a pattern. It reacts to the things we do, the things we ingest, the buildup of a chemical called serotonin, and our circadian rhythm. So regulatory systems is your sleep pattern for now. If you have problems here, you'll notice that you're waking up more frequently than you used to, you're having trouble going to sleep, or once you do wake up, you're having trouble getting back to sleep. At the end of the day, what we take a look at is how many hours on average are you sleeping right now and how many times are you waking up. When those are really low, that would mean that the symptoms are rising in this glass, the glass is overflowing, pouring into the brain, and contributing to a very busy brain that could be bogged down. One more glass up, we've got activity plan. So what you might notice in your concussion is that you're not out and engaging and doing as many things as you used to. That might include an exercise plan, but that might include just going out to church or synagogue or to the grocery store or to Costco or to Shoppers Drug Mart, going out to see family or friends, or doing any of the other normal activities that you would do in a given day. If you go out and do more activities, let's say yard work on a sunny day near a noisy street, and you find that your symptoms are rising, you can think that maybe that noise contributed. That's another glass we'll be doing right away. Maybe the intensity of the sunlight is contributing. That's another glass we'll do right away. But in the yard, you're actually doing work and exerting yourself and having to think of things. So that could be a set of symptoms that you can put into this glass called activity plan. The next one is vestibular. Vestibular refers to a little area inside your ear that has to do with your balance and understanding of where the planet is. If you are getting triggered in this area, you might notice that you're feeling a little bit off balance, kind of your head is feeling congested, and it might be in a response to seeing things and having to track things. Let's say you're going on a bike ride and it's a bumpy area, or you're looking back and forth, or you're looking far and near, or you're looking up and down to see where you are. Any sort of movement that has to do with your eyes and your head could trigger portions of this that we'll call vestibular. In mental health, this, for the most part, a simplification can be kind of how irritable you are, how kind of emotional you're getting, and if that is elevated as compared to what you normally would get, then we would say this glass is full. So back when I had a concussion in December, for example, dog barking would make me very, very irritable. So the dog barking was an auditory input on the ears. That's 2 glasses later. But it created this real anger in me that was absolutely abnormal. And so that would mean to me that the dog barking, giving me a auditory input, was increasing my irritation and affecting my mental health, right? My mental stability, let's say. And so when that glass got really high, I might want to lash out, or I might get a really crinkled eyebrow and get very frustrated with people. That glass is now full and it's tipping over and filling up my brain as well, leading to a busy brain. So as you've seen, the next glass is visual. Visual is a real big one for concussion people on a regular basis. This has to do with things like the sunlight, fluorescent lights, screen time, telephone time. Any sort of light that would come into the eyes is received in a concussion brain much more than it would be otherwise, and the glass can fill up very quickly from ocular or eye inputs. So you might notice that you want to wear sunglasses, you want to wear a baseball cap, you want to pull your hoodie over. What you're trying to do in that is you're trying to limit the amount of sunlight that's coming in to your eyes and limit how quickly that glass gets filled up. When this glass gets filled up, of course, it overflows on the brain. And what I see in a lot of the concussions that are having trouble progressing over time is that this is a very dominant glass. It's constantly overflowing and filling up the brain. And one of the first things we do is take a look at different types of sunglasses or color filtered glasses, concussion glasses, or even a color filter that you can apply to your phone that can maybe minimize how quickly this glass fills up. So the visual inputs are the things that come into your eyes listed in the vision section on that glass. Second to last one is hearing. This would be, as I've alluded to, the auditory inputs that can really bother you. Very typical ones would be dog barking, in particular a high-pitched dog sound, or maybe a baby crying, construction noise, horns honking, or just a very packed room with a lot of things going on. Again, this would be the Walmarts, the Costcos, the music concerts, or the exhibitions that you might go to, or even family outings in a busy restaurant. When you have a lot more sound coming in and you're quite sensitive, this glass will overflow right away. And we're going to have tactics to be able to control this so you can continue to enjoy your life. We'll get to those in the next section. The final one is postural control. This is more to do with your sense of balance in the world. It can be very related to the vestibular that we talked about, but maybe a cardinal sign in this one would be that a set of stairs seems a little bit more daunting to you. When you look down the stairs, you're like, oh, I don't feel very balanced. You're constantly holding onto a handrail. Maybe as you're walking down a hallway, you kind of drift off to the side, or maybe you kind of trip on something on a regular basis that isn't there. That could be in the postural control glass. Now, oftentimes, if it has to do with movement of the head, it can also be vestibular. So these ones sometimes can be confusing, but it actually doesn't really matter which glass it is. It matters that you recognize these things are in fact a part of the concussion, and we can apply some of the rules later on to help you can control how much this glass overflows and how busy the brain gets. So this is the longest video of the whole set, but I think it adequately goes through the different types of things that you can experience after your concussion, that instead of being independent and adding up as a total number of things that's overwhelming, it's actually all a part of the hypersensitivity that happens after a concussion. I hope this helps, and I'll see you for the next video.